the incredible, spine-chilling life story of King Qarun, as narrated in the Qur'an. A king who trusted his knowledge, defied Allah and his prophet, and faced destruction. The tyrant mentioned in the Qur'an, legendary for his unimaginable wealth. A doomed ruler who needed hundreds of camels just to carry the keys to his treasures. A cursed disbeliever who was buried underground along with tons of gold. And his mind-boggling pact with the devil. The story doesn't end here. Part of his treasure left behind 2,500 years ago has survived to this day. But his tale remains shrouded in darkness. What happened to those who discovered the cursed treasure will deeply shake you. Where is the cursed treasure now? If you're ready, let's uncover the dark secrets. The second richest king in history, in Islam Qarun, is known as Korah in other beliefs. While the first place undoubtedly belongs to Prophet Solomon, no one has ever come close to his wealth, even to this day. So much so that even thousands of years later, the phrase, "as rich as Qarun," is still used to describe immense wealth. Before achieving his riches, Qarun was known to be a very poor man. It is said that he was a relative of Prophet Moses and had a close relationship with him. In fact, so close that Prophet Moses played a significant role in transforming Qarun's life completely. Before believing in Moses, Qarun served as the representative of the Israelites in Pharaoh's court, despite his poor financial condition. After embracing faith, Qarun devoted himself to knowledge, wisdom, and worship. While working for the benefit of his people, he never neglected his devotion to Allah. It is said that after Prophet Moses, Qarun was the one who recited the Torah most beautifully. His manners and knowledge earned him a unique place among the Israelites. However, the wealth and power of Pharaoh dazzled Qarun. One day, Qarun told Prophet Moses that he desperately wanted to be wealthy. "Please," he said, "you are close to Allah. Pray for me to become rich." Prophet Moses was hesitant, but Qarun had stopped working for Pharaoh and was no longer oppressing the people under Pharaoh's rule. He had begun to stay close to Moses, following his every word and professing his faith. Again, Qarun pleaded, saying, "Please help me become wealthy. I will use what I earn for good deeds and charity." With these words, he finally convinced Prophet Moses to pray for him. In time, through the blessings of Moses' prayer, Qarun was granted the knowledge of alchemy, the ability to turn base materials into gold. Thus, Qarun learned the knowledge to obtain gold, diamonds, rubies, and all kinds of jewels. He began to amass wealth at an extraordinary speed.
The devil's scheme against Qarun. One day, the accursed devil approached Qarun in human form and befriended him. Later, under the guise of friendship, the devil said, "O Qarun, let us dedicate one day a week to work instead of worship and devote the remaining 6 days to worship." Qarun, who had no need to work due to the wealth he amassed through alchemy, spent all 7 days of the week in worship. However, the devil's suggestion was tempting. Qarun envisioned selling his jewels and becoming even richer, so he accepted the offer. For a while, Qarun continued worshiping for 6 days and working on the 7th. Having made him take this first step, the devil then suggested, "O Qarun, let us now work for half the week and worship for the other half. This way, we can earn more wealth and donate even more to the poor in the way of Allah." By now, Qarun had begun compromising his principles, and this offer seemed even more appealing. He accepted it as well. The devil's scheme was succeeding. He gradually convinced Qarun to extend his working hours further. Let us work more and earn even more money. With this wealth, we can worship and bring joy to even more poor people, the devil said. Although Qarun was hardworking and faithful, he was also consumed by ambition and the desire for success and wealth. The devil's cunning games brought out Qarun's hidden love for worldly pleasures. As Qarun's heart became increasingly filled with worldly ambitions, he started to lose all his virtuous qualities. His pride and arrogance grew day by day. Alongside this, Qarun began to feel jealousy towards Prophet Moses. Unaware of Qarun's envy, Prophet Moses continued to wish only the best for him. In truth, Qarun owed his knowledge of alchemy to Moses' prayer. Yet, instead of love and respect, Qarun had long forgotten his gratitude. Seeing this jealousy, the devil seized the opportunity. Qarun became fixated on Prophet Moses. In Qarun's eyes, the respect and love that the Israelites had for Moses should have been directed at him instead. Through his ability to turn base metals into gold and his relentless hard work, Qarun grew his wealth and hoarded his riches. He reached an unbelievable level of wealth in a short time, so much so that even the keys to his treasures had to be carried by mules. He lived in such abundance that he surrounded himself with luxurious clothing, opulent palaces, servants, and guards. Everything he owned was adorned with gold, emeralds, and various precious jewels. However, as his riches grew, so did his pride and arrogance. Qarun forgot about worship and the reality that all possessions belong solely to Allah. As the Qur'an describes, he became one of the transgressors. Yet, this wealth was still not enough for Qarun. He desired to be the most superior person in the eyes of his people. His feelings mirrored the devil's envy of Adam and his claim of being superior to him. Qarun, knowing he could never win the same love and respect from his people as Prophet Moses, decided to take the first step in discrediting him. This decision would lead to a significant incident. Qarun grew tired of Moses' advice and could no longer tolerate his counsel. When the duty of performing sacrifices was assigned to Moses' brother Aaron and his descendants, Qarun's hidden envy and arrogance became even more evident. Consumed by anger, Qarun confronted Moses and said, "O Moses, you have given your brother Aaron the duty of offering sacrifices, but I have not been assigned anything similar. Yet I recite the Torah fluently. For this reason, I am superior to Aaron. How can I endure such injustice?" Moses replied calmly, "This duty and rank were granted to Aaron not by me, but by Allah the Almighty." But Qarun insisted, saying he would not accept this unless a sign was shown to him. In response, Moses gathered the leaders of the Israelites and said, "Bring your staffs, and we will place them in a designated spot. Whichever staff turns green and grows leaves will signify the one who deserves this duty." The staffs were brought and placed in their place of worship. Among them, only Aaron's staff turned green and sprouted leaves. Following this clear miracle, Moses turned to Qarun and said, "O Qarun, was this my doing?" Qarun, though stunned, allowed his ego to cloud his judgment and replied, "This is nothing but sorcery." Frustrated, he stormed off, but his rebellion against Moses did not end. On another occasion, Allah, the Almighty, commanded the Israelites to attach blue stripes to their garments. Qarun rebelled against this too, claiming, "This is merely a way to distinguish masters from slaves," and he refused to comply. Qarun's resentment toward Moses grew stronger. The fire of jealousy in his heart burned him from within. To win people over, Qarun began hosting lavish feasts and engaging in conversations that emphasized his supposed superiority. He also refused to give Zakat, alms, from his wealth. Despite being reminded of his obligation, Qarun turned a deaf ear to both these words and Moses' advice. When Moses urged him to pay Zakat, Qarun, forgetting that he owed his wealth to Moses' prayer, arrogantly said, "Are you after my wealth? I earned this fortune myself." The incident is described in the Qur'an as follows.
Indeed, Korah was from the people of Moses, but he behaved arrogantly towards them. We had granted him such treasures that even their keys would burden a group of strong men. Some of his people advised him, "Do not be prideful. Surely Allah does not like the prideful. Rather, seek the reward of the hereafter by means of what Allah has granted you, without forgetting your share of this world, and be good to others, as Allah has been good to you. Do not seek to spread corruption in the land, for Allah certainly does not like the corruptors." He replied, "I have been granted all this because of some knowledge I have." Did he not know that Allah had already destroyed some from the generations before him, who were far superior to him in power and greater in accumulating wealth? There will be no need for the wicked to be asked about their sins. Then he came out before his people in all his glamour. Those who desired the life of this world wished, "If only we could have something like what Korah has been given. He is truly a man of great fortune." But those gifted with knowledge said, "Shame on you. Allah's reward is far better for those who believe and do good. But none will attain this except the steadfast." Then we caused the earth to swallow him up, along with his home. There was no one to help him against Allah, nor could he even help himself. And those who had craved his position the previous day began to say, "Ah, it is certainly Allah, who gives abundant or limited provisions to whoever he wills of his servants. Had it not been for the grace of Allah, he could have surely caused the earth to swallow us up. Oh, indeed, the disbelievers will never succeed." Al-Qasas 7682 Ayah.
From the Quranic verse, we can understand the following. The worldly wealth given to someone as a test does not reflect their rank or value in the sight of Allah, as our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "If the world were worth as much as a mosquito's wing to Allah, he would not have given a disbeliever even a sip of water from it." The great slander against Prophet Moses by Qarun. When Prophet Moses made Zakat obligatory for the Israelites, Qarun could not accept it. Gathering them together, he said, "O Israelites, until now you have obeyed everything Moses has commanded. Now he wants to take possession of your wealth." The people responded, "You are our leader. Whatever you command, we will do." Qarun then instructed them, "Bring me such and such a woman. Give her whatever wealth she desires and convince her to claim that she was with Moses." This sinister and cursed plan was immediately set in motion. In his efforts to rid himself of Prophet Moses, Qarun devised this vile scheme. He then approached Moses and said, "Come and speak to the Israelites, who have gathered here to listen to your advice." Prophet Moses went to the gathering and began his sermon, "O Israelites, whoever falsely accuses someone of adultery will be lashed. Whoever commits adultery if unmarried will receive 100 lashes. If married, they will be lashed until death." Seeing an opportunity, Qarun asked, "Even if that person is you?" Moses replied, "Yes, even if it were me, the same punishment applies." Qarun then said, "The Israelites claim that you were with such and such a woman." Prophet Moses replied, "Bring the woman forward. If she says such a thing, then it must be true." The woman was summoned. When she arrived, Prophet Moses asked her, "Have I been with you, as they claim. Whatever the reason, when the woman saw Prophet Moses standing before her, she changed her mind. She declared, "No, they are lying. They paid me to falsely accuse you." Upon hearing this, Qarun and the gathered people were struck with shock and disbelief. The people began shouting, "We believe in the Lord of Moses." This moment marked the beginning of Qarun's downfall. Prophet Moses immediately prostrated in gratitude. Allah revealed to him, "Today I have placed the earth at your command. You may command it as you wish." Prophet Moses then gave the earth the command, "Swallow them." With each command, the earth engulfed them a little further, first up to their knees, then to their waists, and then to their necks. Meanwhile, Qarun and his followers begged Prophet Moses for mercy. However, known for his stern nature, Prophet Moses continued his command for the earth to swallow them completely. This was not merely a personal affront to him, but an attack on the divine revelation he was entrusted to convey. For such a betrayal and crime, Prophet Moses could not grant forgiveness. Thus, Qarun and his followers, along with their treasures, were swallowed into the depths of the earth. Allah states in the Qur'an,
"So we caused the earth to swallow him and his home. He had no group to help him against Allah, nor was he of those who could defend themselves." Surah Al-Qasas 28:81.
Qarun's destruction was caused by his attachment to worldly possessions and his envy of others. As the Qur'an instructs, we are taught to seek refuge in Allah from the harm of envy.
Say, "I seek refuge in the Lord of daybreak, from the evil of what he created, from the evil of darkness when it settles, from the evil of those who blow on knots, and from the evil of an envier when he envies."
Indeed, the fate of those who envy is nothing but regret and loss. Witnessing Qarun and his followers' destruction, the people who had once envied him deeply regretted their admiration for him. So, what happened to the legendary treasure of King Qarun? After thousands of years, an extraordinary discovery was made in Turkey's Izmir province, which will leave you astonished when you hear what happened. In a village along the Izmir-Uşak road, a man with a treasure map enlisted 5 villagers to dig at a location he had pinpointed. After digging, they uncovered a tomb, and within it, a treasure of 520 pieces of jewelry. This treasure consisted of jewels that once belonged to a princess, inherited from the Lydian king Qarun. However, this was merely a tiny fraction of the legendary treasure that had been swallowed into the earth, the small portion owned by the princess. The villagers, unaware of the rumors surrounding Qarun's treasure, sold the priceless artifacts at a fraction of their true value and celebrated their newfound wealth. What they didn't realize was the enduring legend that the treasure of Qarun might be cursed. The treasure was smuggled to America, but strange events began to unfold. The villagers who uncovered the treasure started to meet untimely and mysterious deaths. One was crushed under a tractor, another went blind, and yet another lost their sanity. Even those involved in transporting the treasure to America were not spared. They too began to die under peculiar circumstances. Years later, the Qarun treasure, displayed at the New York Metropolitan Museum, attracted attention. It was realized that the treasure had been illegally taken from Turkey. After a long legal battle and a $40 million effort, Turkey succeeded in reclaiming the treasure and brought it back to its rightful home. Today, a small fragment of King Qarun's magnificent 2,500-year-old treasure is displayed at the Uşak Museum. However, years after its return, it was discovered that the most significant piece, the winged seahorse, had been replaced with a counterfeit despite the museum's cameras and security. The original piece had been stolen, but was eventually recovered in Germany and returned to the Uşak Museum. If you ever find yourself in Uşak, don't miss the chance to visit Qarun's treasure. but just in case, it's better not to get too close. As for the legendary portion of the treasure that remains underground, some believe that it will only be unearthed by the awaited Mahdi, who will distribute it to those in need when his time comes. As Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Love of worldly possessions is a veil between you and Allah. Removing that veil is in our hands. Of course, we are to benefit from the blessings Allah has given us. But remember, worldly possessions are fleeting. As long as you have wealth, your enemies may act as friends, but when you lose everything, even your friends can turn into foes. At the end of the day, it's worth reminding ourselves, all the treasures in this world are temporary." In a hadith, our Prophet, peace be upon him, once spoke about prayer and said, "Whoever performs their prayers consistently, those prayers will be a light for them against darkness, a proof of their sincerity, and a means of salvation from punishment on the day of judgment. Whoever does not perform their prayers consistently will have no light, proof, or salvation. Such a person will be resurrected on the day of judgment with Qarun, Pharaoh, Haman, and Ubay ibn Khalaf." This and similar hadiths aim to warn believers against neglecting prayer. The reason for associating someone who neglects prayer with these four individuals is explained as follows. If a person is distracted by their wealth and neglects prayer, they resemble Qarun, the wealthy tyrant. If they are hindered by their rule or authority, they resemble Pharaoh, the oppressive king. If their position as a minister or administrator prevents them from praying, they resemble Haman, Pharaoh's minister. If their trade or business becomes an obstacle to prayer, they resemble Ubay ibn Khalaf, the Meccan merchant. It is important to note that this resemblance is not about disbelief, but rather about characteristics and behavior. It does not mean the person is a disbeliever or destined for eternal punishment in hell. Even when the planets align, if you feel alone in this vast universe, this channel is just for you. To ensure this video reaches others like you without getting lost in the sea of YouTube, we need your support. Every subscriber helps us reach more hearts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. See you in the next video. May Allah protect you.